Imagine having someone being able to come into your business and review your full financials, find cash that's sitting there that you don't even know you have. That's one of the benefits of working with a certified action coach who are trained to do this, to find the gaps in your business. Today, I get to speak with business coach Paul Roach, who shares some of the strategies and tips that can help you find the gaps in your business, the benefits of working with a business coach, and how it can give you more time and financial freedom. Paul, thanks for joining today.
Awesome, Michelle. Really looking forward to this.
Paul, tell me, why did you become a business coach?
Look, Michelle, my journey is around numbers. I'm an accountant by trade. I don't say it too loudly now, but focused on management accounting.
We won't hold that against you.
Yeah, that's right. You know, exactly. It's one of those things.
No, we need it. We all need accountants.
That's right. And accountants serve two roles. Either they keep you compliant or they help you make money in your business. Unfortunately, we find that most accountants are too bogged down in compliance and they don't actually get the time to help business owners make money. So I find a nice little niche in there that working with the numbers in a business to help the business owners actually make some cash, which is probably what they went into business for in the first place. So that's where I start. My journey has taken me through, when I left uni, I was working for a loss-making business, making six-figure losses every week.
A loss-making business. That's an interesting industry.
Yeah,
but probably common.
Yeah, look, it fell into new ownership. The new owners hedged the sale price of their product on the world price. They lost, literally hundreds of thousands of dollars a month as a result of that, and they needed a massive restructure. So I was part of the team that helped work out what the business was doing, where it was going, what they could do with their cost structure. Their revenue structure was fairly fixed. Their output, how could they get their output up to be able to get more revenue in the door? And they're still trading today, which is a long time ago that that we were working on that. So they were a very, very heavily cash-strapped business that survived really well. So
wow. And so you mentioned earlier that, accountants are often working on the reactive side of the business, potentially. Let's not upset any accountants out there because we love you. But I have heard accountants say before that, they would love to be more proactive in helping businesses succeed before it gets to the point. And there's obviously warning signs on what that is. You can see the trajectory based on maybe their current position or trend. Tell me about that.
Look, and I think there's two sides to this coin. I think accountants would love to be more proactive, but I'm not sure their client base are prepared to pay for it, which is a bit of a challenge. Clients probably don't know it's available, don't know they can help. And one of the things one of my special traits, if you like, is I can see numbers in 3D. So what that means is I can see if you make this change here today, how that's going to play out over the next 2 or 3 years and what impact it's going to have on your profit. So the ability to pull a business apart, the ability to pull the numbers apart and have a look at what it's doing and where it's going, is a real challenge for business owners. They get caught in the day-to-day and they forget or don't know how. They forget that that's part of making money is working out what's going on and what you'd like it to look like.
And so that ability for you to be able to see that, what are some of the signs, like if a business owners out there listening to this, what are some of the signs or what advice would you give them that kind of, rather than being more, compliance in terms of just waiting till you get your tax done and not doing anything else, more proactive? What are some of the tips or signs that you can share that would help business owners have some awareness around this?
So I think one of the things that was instilled in me very early in that loss-making business was their reporting structure was weekly. So they had to report their profit and loss every single week to the board. And it wasn't, if you get it done, send it to us. It was, you have it done by Thursday, 12 o'clock for the week finishing 7:30 Monday morning. And there was no ambiguity around it. So the business owner, the business managers in that business, and the owners, the directors, knew the profitability of that business every single week. They didn't wait till the end of financial year. They didn't wait to the end of the month. They knew it weekly. So as business owners in a small to medium space, knowing our numbers every week is a key part of driving how our business is performing. And our monthly profit and loss, that when we get it, is normally just confirmation of what's happened in the 4 weeks before it. So we should already know where we're at and where we're going.
That's interesting, because when you go to get your financials done yearly and your tax done with an accountant, that you're really looking at it once a year. So breaking it down to quarterly, breaking it down to monthly, and then, as you say, weekly, you really have got that in the moment bird's eye view of your business very quickly.
Absolutely. And once you've got it weekly, yes, it's a bit of pain to get that, a bit of pain to get it set up and get it to happen. But once you've got that and you get in the habit of it, it's a bit like a drug. You've got to have it. You've got to know where you're at. It builds that energy around numbers are not a chore. Numbers actually drive my business, and it swings the pendulum back the other way.
Yeah, that's great advice. Thank you. Any other tips that you would share with business owners apart from measuring your numbers weekly?
I think there's also the thing of using your numbers. Yes, you've got to measure them, but you've got to be able to dig and go, what do we do with this? Yeah, we know, but how do we make it better? How do we improve it inch by inch, so to speak? We're not looking for the silver bullet. We're looking for the incremental changes. So, for example, I was with a client last week, and they're in the vehicle repair industry, right? And they're saying to me, ask them a simple question: what's your markup on the parts that you use in the business that you put in people's vehicles? Oh, 70%. Awesome. Let's take that. So we go and look at the profit and loss, and we realise that the 70% they're aiming for, they're actually only achieving 61%. So we've got a 9% gap. 9% gap is actually extrapolates out over the year to be about $106,000. And that's lost profit. That's lost cash flow. That's 9%. So the exercise with them over the next couple of months is, how do we narrow that 9% gap? Where's the hole in our bucket? Same with their labour. We're looking at their labour and we're going, how much do you mark up your labour by? Oh, we mark it up by 100%. Oh, let's go and have a look at our profit and loss. Let's have a look at each of our team members. Let's have a look at what revenue they're actually generating. Now, that in itself is an interesting exercise, because normally you've got to dig pretty deep on that, and you've got to flick through a fair bit of paperwork to find out what their actual profitability is. And you look at it and you go, well, 100%, well, actually, we're only getting around 50%. Go, well, hang on, I've got 7 team members here. We're getting 50% and we're missing 50% chargeability. What's that worth? And that's like $200,000 or $300,000 in that alone.
So the money's there. The money's often there with businesses that they just don't know where to find it. And why are we often scared of looking at the numbers? Is it just a lack of knowledge? Is it knowing what to look for?
Look, I think it's a bit of everything. Yes, we look at our profit and loss. Yes, we go for sales growth. We've got some profit on the bottom line, and we think, yeah, wow, we've worked really hard to get it.
Everything's great.
Yeah, which we have. Business owners work really hard, probably too hard to get it. It's about, how do we work a little bit smarter to get a little bit more? And some of it's not sure what to look for, not sure how to look for it. There's a bit of fear in there about, if I dig, what will I find? And it's always good to know if there's any nasty surprises hanging around the corner, to get them out in the open. There's also the, how do I fix it? How do I actually fix the fact that I'm not getting full markup on all my parts? Where's the problem? How do I fix the fact that my employees are not charging 100% of their time? And it's like, that's a process. That's a process to work through. Yeah, they rock up, they're working their 40 hours a week to keep the numbers round, but they're only charging 20 or they're only charging 30. How do we get them to charge 40? We don't want a sweatshop. We're not in the game of creating a sweatshop or that sort of environment, but there's probably 4 or 5 reasons, if not 10, as to why they're not charging their full 40. And working with the team to develop that and get to the bottom of it and actually work it out can be a difficult process.
So working with you, and one of the benefits of working with a business coach is you really drilling down into the specifics of the business itself, right? Drilling down into the deep financials of the business, but also empowering the business owner to be better educated around their numbers, make better strategic decisions. It's not advice. It's really coaching is about helping them come to that decision, right? Can you walk me through how you do that with clients when it comes to financials?
Look, it's an interesting game, isn't it, Michelle? It's like
when you know what they need to do,
yes.
and you just want to tell them what they need to do.
Yeah, and it's like when you say to them, "Hey, you're leaving $110,000 on the table every year." You don't need to motivate them very much for them to go out and find that 110,000. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, well, let's start here. Let's go back and have a look at the last week. Let's see where the hole in the bucket is, and actually dig through the paperwork. And once they know what they're searching for, like $110,000 a year, that's worth the effort. Oh yeah, it's $200,000 in lost labour opportunity. Yeah, they're from originally in a frustration zone of overwork and overwhelm, when they've got clarity of 1 or 2 things that they need to look for in the week or the fortnight, all of a sudden they're extremely highly motivated and never have any trouble getting them to focus on it. The challenge, of course, is once they've focused on it and found it, how do we fix it and how do we keep it fixed? Because sometimes you'll fix it and then it will slip back the other way.
Yeah. So you made a point earlier where you said that often, business owners go to an accountant for, compliance and to take care of, the tax, and from a compliance standpoint, not necessarily the kind of things that we're talking about today. For business owners that are listening, one of the things that I love about Action Coach is that we have this 17-week guarantee, and that we find the cost of coaching, the investment of coaching in their business, which pays for itself. So even though there's this initial investment of coaching to help them with the areas of business performance, that well and truly covers itself, not just in 17 weeks, but often so much faster. I mean, you would see a lot of that, right?
Oh, absolutely. And it's like session 1 is about, where's the hole in the bucket? Once you find the hole in the bucket, it's like there's never any question around the return on your investment in coaching. It pays for itself. Like this alone will pay for itself for the next 10 years, 10, 11, 12 years, whatever it's going to be. It's like it's such a fast return that you can find. And that's not isolated. It's not a one-off isolated case. It's almost like every business I go to has got a massive hole in the bucket somewhere.
Yeah, and often it's challenging for the business owner to see that because they're so busy working in the business, they just don't have that view or perspective. So tell me about a business owner that you've worked with where you were able to find that, gap in their business.
Yeah, look, and if I just go back in terms of the clients I've taken on recently, and we can look at that one. One of them recently is a gardener. She does a lot of NDIS, which is an Australian disability scheme funding for gardeners, and her business is great. It's $500,000 turnover, family business, so husband and wife working in there. Before we even look at the profitability of the gardeners, we're focusing on, why is there so much overhead in the business? Why is there so many people taking to run the business? And the first thing I'm looking at is the schedule. And I'm going, hang on, why are you creating a new schedule every week for every client? Surely we can just have a routine schedule that has, these done this week, and next week we do these clients, and then we do the monthly clients, and we have the same teams going to every place. Wouldn't that just be nice and simple and easy and straightforward?
So they were booking an appointment every week that was different. There was no set schedule, so clients changed from week to week. There was no in the diary. Yeah, wow.
Yeah, and she's on the phone every week to them confirming the appointment and the time, and it's like, that's like a full-time wage in that job, in that business, just to keep the schedule together. And when I asked her about it, it's like, oh, our software system doesn't operate that way for us. We can't schedule. I said, well, find a new software system. It's pretty straightforward. So she's running on a different system now, and it's like it's actually costing her less to run that to pay for that system than what the previous one. It's about half the price. And the teams are all locked in and routine. So that whole overhead, 50, 60 grand a year, which is about 10% of their turnover, all of a sudden it's all freed up. Now she can focus on.
It's often not what they think is the challenge is often not what the actual problem is, right? So why did she originally come to you for help?
She's frustrated with her business and the fact that it's plateaued, it's unable to grow at the moment, and the bottom line is fairly tight. Like it's not giving them the lifestyle that they want.
Okay, so they're tired, it's not giving them the lifestyle they want, and it's not growing.
And there's just, it's a frustration point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when she came to you, what did she say?
Well, she was like, I want to grow. I want to grow my business. I go, well, hang on. Before we move your business into a different business model than what you've got at the moment, let's get your existing business model to work and work really, really well. So let's take it and let's see what we can do with it before we even do any marketing.
Mm-hmm. Do you know, I hear that a lot and business owners, and you would hear this a lot too, business owners want more sales. I want more clients. I want to grow this thing. And they think that that's the answer, but often that's not the answer. It's just like putting a Band-Aid on a Band-Aid on a Band-Aid, right?
I actually think it can be really risky and potentially dangerous to the longevity of the business to try and grow a business when it's got these sorts of challenges. Because if she was going to grow, the problems in the business just would have just compounded, sorry.
Yeah, if she didn't get a better scheduling system, she would have needed to hire another full-time person. That would have been, X amount of dollars. Yeah.
Yeah, would have just turned it into total chaos rather than just semi-chaos.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, let's build the solid foundations. Let's build the business with the aim of the business's, the commercial profitable enterprise that grows without you or runs without you. We want it to be at that point as early in the process as we can. So we're building with the end in mind, and the end is we want the business to run with as least effort as we can possibly put into it.
So would you say looking at the IT software and scheduling system is really a systems problem that they had?
It's really a mindset.
Yes.
That the system compounded it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And the mindset was feeling the need to talk to every customer every week or every fortnight rather than popping them into a schedule and nurturing them that way.
Because I don't want to have to talk to my gardener. I just want them to turn up. Not saying that I don't love my gardener. I do, but I don't need a phone call every week. Right.
Yeah. I get enough phone calls as it is, I just want a bit of peace and quiet in my downtime. I don't want them to have to be begging on my door to let me know they're going to be coming tomorrow. Just turn up.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah, let's keep business simple. Let's just keep it running.
So, Paul, what was the next step?
The next step with them actually is they've got they haven't really thought through how they take their drawings out of the business. So they've actually created themselves a problem. The problem is they've mixed their personal funds with their business funds, and they're drawing money out of the business for personal use. And of course, that's fine until the taxman wants his slice of the cake and says, hey, that's all drawings, you need to pay tax.
So they were just pulling money out whenever they wanted it or needed it?
Yeah, it became totally mixed. There was no routine to it. There was no structure. There was no systematic way of doing it. And of course, now they're starting to lodge tax returns. We know that there's going to be some liabilities popping up. So it's working through that and dealing with the anxiety and the stress levels that go with that when you've got a nasty surprise. And, what do we do with it? How do we deal with it? Well, now we've got to get serious about running the business, not only to make money, but we've got some debts to sort out as well. So now we're serious about growth. We're on that cusp where we're seriously looking forward to how quickly can we grow this business. Because our systems and processes are in place. We're getting really good at marketing. We get really good on our pricing. We got really good on our cost control and our efficiencies. And yeah, it's looking good.
So how many hours a week was she and her husband or partner? How many hours a week were they working in the business, and how many are they working now?
It's moved from a 6-day-a-week commitment down to a 4.5-day-a-week commitment in the space of about 3 months. Yeah. So now they take half a day out to spend family time, and they all go and play golf.
Wow, that's incredible. Just that short period of time.
It can be really quick. Really quick. It's just take the blinkers off. Let's step back from your business. Let's have a bit of a different view on where it's at and how it's working. And I think that's the advantage that we bring as coaches. I think because we get to see so many different businesses and so many different types of businesses, and a lot of our learning is around business efficiency, business profitability, all those things that we spend our time learning. We see so many different things. So what works in a business over here is every chance it can work in a business over there as well. We're trialing different things to keep us at the front end of change as well. And I think business owners get trapped in their business and they don't see outside their four walls as to what's actually going on. And if they're not out, constantly learning, they get trapped in their business or trapped in their industry. And this is the industry norm. This is how our industry does things. And that can become down. No, that's right. There's a whole world of knowledge out there. There's a whole world of good stuff.
Wow, that's great. I love that story. And what's the next level for them? So they're working 4.5 days now a week. You've saved them over $100,000 in their business. What's next?
Look, it's been a pretty emotional journey for them over those months. They need a little bit of time just to chill and enjoy the quiet and the solitude of the business just growing nicely. Get some energy back, because I think they're a little bit burnt and they were a little bit fatigued when they came into coaching. So we're just going to level out for the next couple of months. And then the next step is we're just honing our niche a bit more. We're spread a bit too far geographically, so we're going to pull back and just service more service in a smaller area, so we can better service our customers and just help our profitability also by not having our employees travel a lot between different sites. Keep them nice and close so the cost of labour comes down a bit and gives us a better bottom line. Then we get known a bit more in that area so we can grow a little bit more easily. So that's the next 12 months for them. And I don't think they're ready for super growth. They're ready to just enjoy the journey a bit more.
Yes. And that's well deserved by the sounds of it. So congratulations on what you've been able to help them achieve, and also for them on taking the first step to ask for some assistance in this area.
Yeah. And
that can be the biggest challenge often, is just taking the first step, isn't it? Like, I know I can see I've got a challenge here, but I don't know where to turn. And that's the beauty of a coach.
Look, and that's the the bit that we value is that they're putting their trust in us to help them through the challenge. And that's a big emotional commitment as well as a financial commitment. And it's one I don't take lightly, is that, we're there to help them get results. And that's what it's about. Yeah.
Yeah. The financial commitment, you look at what you've just done with them, and within a period of 3 months, you've well and truly paid for the cost of
absolutely.
coaching, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't see coaching as a cost. You know what I mean? I know it's a cost for people coming into coaching, but for me, I see it as just a way to multiply your money.
Getting a business coach is a way to multiply your money. I love that. Let's use that as the headline. It's a great headline.
Why not? Yeah.
Investing in a business coach is a way to multiply your money. Sounds like a no-brainer to me.
It's just the way I view it. If you want to invest some money and you want to see an exponential return on the back end of it pretty quickly, it's a good way to do it. And have some fun along the way. Because once you take some of the pressure off people, it's amazing how their life changes.
Like that client you've just given us the example of, going from working in their business 6 days a week to 4.5. That's a massive lifestyle change.
It's huge. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're smiling and laughing, and you just see their stress levels have dropped. You can just see it in them physically. You can see the colour in their face has changed, and you see they're just enjoying life. Yeah, they're just enjoying the journey, which is what they weren't doing before.
Which is often why people get into business for, right? To create a better life.
Apparently, but there's a lot of them out there that just don't want to enjoy it. You know what I mean?
I'm sure they do. They just don't know how.
Yeah, well, that's right. It's learning to enjoy it. That's the thing. Learning to enjoy the journey and appreciate it. It's like,
How do you say that, though, for business owners that are out there that are really struggling and frustrated and, potentially that bottom line's not looking very healthy? How do you enjoy that journey?
I think the first part of the journey is knowing that you've got a plan in place to deal with it and move forward. While you don't have any knowledge around it, you don't have any plan to deal with it, and you know what you're doing isn't working, that's just compiling the stress on top of you. It's just piling up on you. Once you pull it apart and you go, well, yeah, there's $100,000 in parts alone that we can make over the next 12 months and every year thereafter without growing, all of a sudden it's, $100,000 makes a huge difference. You put your energy into that, and then all of a sudden, $100,000, that's $8,500 a month. That's a big, big difference to everyone's life. Then once that starts hitting the bank account, which takes, about 2 weeks, 4 weeks at tops. Once it starts hitting the bank account and you start seeing that process coming through and you see the bank account growing, it's amazing how people's energy changes, their focus changes, and all of a sudden they've turned the page onto the next thing and it's good. It's not on the bad page where it was. And that's the difference that I really enjoy making. It's the fun in that. Finding the fun in numbers. Now that's a challenge for you.
Now there's a headline, Finding the Fun in Numbers. That's the title of your next book, Paul. So you've got a book there on your desk behind you. What's the name of your book? What's the title?
Smarter Business, Stronger Cashflow.
Okay, so tell me what's the message in that book and why did you write it?
The message in the book is really around it just going through the fundamentals of financials from the point of view of your profit and loss. So we talk about revenue, we talk about cost of goods, we talk about overheads, and just some of the things to trigger your thinking around what could we do differently. And then we go through the balance sheet, and 99% of business owners don't know what a balance sheet is. They don't know why it exists, and they don't think they ever need to look at it. But we have a look at a balance sheet and go, what's good on a balance sheet? What's bad on a balance sheet? What's on your balance sheet that's going to impact your cash flow? What's on your balance sheet that we need to know about? How do we make it better? How do we make your business stronger out of it? And at the end of the day, how do we deliver cash flow to your bank account. Working with a client, it's about 4 or 5 months ago now, looking at his profit and loss going, I'm making money. I should be making money, but my bank account's empty and I've got a tax bill. Sit down with him, go through his financials and go, well, hang on, you've got all these lease payments that you've been repaying at a tune of about, $30,000 a month for lease payments. You've been paying those for the last 6 months, so there's $180,000 come out of your business that hasn't hit your profit and loss. So profit and loss making money, but cash flow negative. Situation a lot of business owners find themselves in. So once they understand where their true cash flow break even is, where that sits, and the book will guide them into that, all of a sudden, wow, different focus, different energy, and the business is going to have no problems at all moving forward.
So it's like a workbook that they can use to not help them guide and know and understand their business.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's written in business owner language, not accountant language, which yeah, look, and there's a bit of a translation process in there, and if accountants read it, they'll go, it's not technically correct, but when business owners read it, they go, yeah, I understand it now. And so it's bridging the gap between accountants and business owners to a workable solution to be able to read and understand financials and actually use your financials to go, what can I do with my business? How can I make it better? How can I squeeze more out of it and work less?
And where can people buy the book, Paul?
Jump on Amazon. Any of the online bookstores have got it. Absolutely. Yeah.
Great. Okay, awesome. Thank you. All right, let's jump into 3 quick fire questions. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
And you can't, and you've got to probably think of book number 2 because you'll probably say what's your favourite business book is your own. But apart from your own, Paul, what's your favourite business book?
Measure What Matters, actually. It's one I've just finished reading and I'm really, really enjoyed it and got a lot out of it. Yeah.
Great. Good book. Number 2, who's been the best mentor or coach for you? And you're not allowed to say Brad Sugars.
I've been working with Bruce Wilson for a long time. He has done some amazing stuff with me. Yep. Yeah.
Great. And number 3, what's the best piece of business advice that you ever received?
I think it's around knowing your numbers. You've just got to know your numbers. You've got to do it. Much knowledge you may not enjoy it. You've got to do it up front.
Love it. Thanks for your time today, Paul.
Been awesome. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Michelle Adams, your host here. Hats off to you for committing to your learning by listening to this podcast. And if you'd like some help implementing some of these strategies, then click the link in the description to find your local action coach. They can help you put these strategies into action and take your business and your life to the next level. In the meantime, like and subscribe so that you're the first to get our next episode. We'll see you soon.